Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I'm excited to share with you a first look at DON-100. This is a new Soviet division available in the State of Emergency and Nemesis DLC. Let's jump on in. Just a note, what you see today is a work in progress and therefore subject to change. Also, a big thanks to Eugen Systems for giving me early access. I'm going to go through all of the units and we're going to put together a quick deck. So starting here in the Logistics tab, we have the GAZ 53. 12 on a card for 25 points. You get 500 supply per vehicle, 65 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road. Actually a pretty nifty little truck, and plenty of them. You got 2 cards. Then there's the ZIL 131, 50 points, 4 on a card, 2 cards available. These are 1,500 per vehicle, 65 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road. So same speed, just more supply for twice the cost. It's not too bad. Nice option for sure. And then we've got the Mi-8MT, so you can get some supply helicopters, 1,500 supply. These cost 55 points, you get 4 on a card. There is the Jeep, the Belazor, 80 points, 3 on a card, 60 km per hour off-road, 100 km per hour on-road. It's okay. Much prefer the Chaika though, because it is armoured. It's also slightly faster off-road. It also has more health, and it costs the same. So the Chaika is always a better option. And then you got the Demos, which is 85 points, 3 on a card. 60 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road. It does have 8 health, which is nice, but it doesn't have the same armor as the Chaika. It's really strange how that's priced, to be honest, if you compare them. But alas, cool new unit that's in the game. I just really like it when Eugen Systems adds new unique units to the game. Like, even if they're not necessarily like game changing, it's always cool to see these trucks and vehicles that you might not see in other games. And then we got, of course, the choice of a fob. Right, moving on to the infantry tab. This is where things get a little bit exciting here. So we've got the militia. This is like the militia leader. So 3 AKMs. Pretty trash leader. Security trait, militia trait. Yeah, it's nothing special, but a cool outfits for sure. And you can also bring them in with a security trait UAZ. So this goes from, I guess, bad optics to normal optics with security. I don't know if it actually goes up to good, because then you get your like a free UAZ recon vehicle, which is not too bad. All right, we got Kosanti MVD. These have 6 AKS-74Us, again, security trait, militia trait, but 15 points, come in the GAZ 53. Nice uniforms again. Really interesting. I like, again, when they're adding flavor, even if you're not going to see these used too often, although I imagine in close quarters, having this many AKS-74Us may not be too bad, because the militia trait sucks, but it's not nerfing the AKS-74U too much because it's a submachine gun. Then we got the militia. So these are shotgun boys. They got 4 AKMs and a KS-23M, which is a shotgun. 150 meter range, 75% accuracy. Very interesting stuff. 30 points. It's got good damage. I don't know if these are going to be worth it or not with the militia trait, but still really cool to see shotguns added to the game. Then we got PKMs, so your standard sort of PKM squad. 15 points, you can get 12 on a card. 2 cards available. And then there's the 30mm grenade launcher as well, which is a pretty nice option for dealing with infantry at range. Then we got the Commendatora, which is your military police. These have, therefore, AK-74s, military police, security trait, with also a military police vehicle, which is nice. And then you've got the larger squad. So Commendatora Ursalenia. Ursalenia. I'm gonna absolutely trash that name, but either way, it's a pretty tough squad. You got 7 AKs, SVD, 2 PKMs, 10-man squad. Definitely going to be able to deal well with enemy infantry squads, but obviously doesn't have anything to deal with like enemy armor. And you got to be really, really careful because people will charge you down with like APCs and tanks if they notice that there's a squad on its own without any AT. So always have like an AT squad with these if you're using them. Which you probably will because you're probably just using them as military police anyway. And then we got the Modostraki MVD Komroti. Again, loving the uniforms. Really, really nice. I always find like the infantry models just like get better and better throughout the life cycle of WARNO. This one gets 3 AK MS and an RPK with smoke grenade. Having the smoke grenade is nice. They also get some pretty decent transports, so I'm just going to go back and check these because I missed out on this little thing. Very cool. But yeah, transports for these guys. You've got the UAZ, which again gets a security trait. You got the MVD BTR with security trait, and it has smoke. So this is a nice transport. The KPVT and the PKT working together can actually chew up infantry very quickly. So nothing to scoff at there. You can also use it with a BMP-1. This is not the best BMP in the world. It's just got its main gun plus the PKT. So yeah, a bit of a naff option really. But the BMP-2, great option. 30mm autocannon plus the PKTs. Yeah. Security trait as well. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to work again. If it goes from mediocre to good, then that's actually kind of nice. Yeah, cool. Then we got the Modostraki MVD. These can be brought in the GAZ or the BTR. BTR is a great option. And this one's just 8 AKMS with the RPG-7VL, which has 18 penetration at 675 meter range with 55% accuracy. That's actually a pretty decent squad to sort of accompany other infantry for AT. They also have security traits still. I mean, all of these are going to have security trait. So this is the Modostraki MVD, which can be brought in the BMP. So they trade one of their AK for the SVD, and they get an RPG-7VS, which is just slightly less penetration, basically. But otherwise, the stats are the same. So yeah, cool. And they can be brought in with that BMP-1 or the BMP-2. These BMP-2s, they don't have any HGMs, so that is a little bit of a letdown. But the 30mm is still pretty nice fire support against enemy infantry. It does struggle against vehicles since it got its rate of fire slowed down though. Modostraki MVD with SVDs. So again, changing up the launcher, we're going for even less penetration here with the 7VM. Goes down to 14 penetration. But they have 8 men plus the SVD in there with the BTR. It's okay. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this one, especially considering they cost more. I mean, the SVD does mean that they're going to increase the amount of suppression they put out, but you may as well just be using the BMP version or the normal version, I think. Then we got the Saperi Komroti. So 4-man squad with an RPG-7BL. It's okay. They get the shock trait as well. Can be brought in with the UAZ on the MTRB. Or UAZ is always better, like just because the MTRB is kind of slow, honestly, unless you really need it for like amphibious operations or whatever, but that barely ever happens. Saperi, standard 8-man squad, AK, PKM, satchel charge with shock trait, and then you got the Saperi RPO in here as well, which is actually a really nice option to have. So yeah, 50 points, they get the RPO-A incendiary launcher. They get 7 AKs of the PKM with the shock trait. Yeah, this is a solid squad, and you can bring them in with the CAS. Then we have some of the more interesting units. So we got the Ormon. These are shock trait security with 6 AKS-74Us, a shotgun, and an RPK-74 with smoke grenades. So these are going to absolutely rip infantry at close range. Really nice, especially with that shock trait. Yeah, that's cool. Let me just close that so you guys can see them a bit better. Some of them have got those blue balaclavas, got the black balaclava there, and then their other outfits. Really cool. Like that a lot. Then we got the BTR. There's the MI8 in there, and the MI8 with the rockets as well, which is a nice option for sure to have. And then we got the URSN, or URSN. These are a special forces squad. So they get Special Forces, Shock Trait, 6 AKMS, PKM, SVD, RPG 7VM. 7VM stuck at that 14 pen is a bit lackluster, but it's only 55 points for an 8-man squad that, again, is going to do very well against enemy infantry, whilst also having AT in this case, which is nice. And again, cool infantry models. So we've got BTR 80, MI8T with rockets again. And you've got 2 cards of these. Then there's the SPG-9, the Fargo HGem. This is the M with the 17 pen, 2,450 meter range, and then the Conquerors with that 20 pen, 2,625 meter range. Standard stuff. And then finally, a thick Ochrana MVD squad, 16 strength, 13 AKMs, 2 shotguns, and an RPK. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Again, militia though, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, it's just a lot of militia. It's not any reservists, which means that like value out of the military place is going to be a bit limited. The main value of the military place is going to be providing the suppression regeneration bonus. So it could be handy for things like these militia. But yeah, the mainly what happens with the militia is they just take longer to aim and reload, which makes their like guns less effective overall. But either way, this is a pretty thick loadout. Moving on to artillery, 82mm mortars. Again, mainly used for smoke. You got to be kind of careful with mortars at the moment because sometimes they just salvo length is too long and they get counter batteried very easily. So yeah, just be wary of that. There's a 120mm mortar as well, which is going to be a little bit better for actual HE shenanigans now. Then you got the UR-77, very cool. Meter it. This thing is just going to like delete infantry, but it has a very short range. So 1,750 meter range, fantastic for engaging enemy infantry in forests, because forests have very like consistent line of sight compared to in towns, for example. So you can make sure it remains hidden, give it like sort of a bit of a security around it, and then you can get nice up and close to those enemy infantry squads and land those big mine clearing launchers on top of the enemy infantry. There's also 122 mils, so these could be useful. I mean, you can get 4 in a card. There's 2 cards available. If you brought in all 8 of these at once and then just did like one shot and then move, and then one shot and then move, you can like fire 8 shots at one target at a time, and you probably get some effectiveness out of these. They're still not great because of their lack of damage, but it may be more effective than trying to use something like the Gerdsen here. Although in this case, the Gerdsen at least had 30,000 meter range, which is a long way. So you could probably set this right to the back of the map. On the deeper map, this might not be able to be counter-batteried because of lack of range. So you could certainly exploit that, although your dispersion at 30 kilometers is going to be quite significant. Moving on to the tank tab, 85mm AT gun. This is the D44. It's useful for ambushing and wiping out sort of a lot of light vehicles, but usually you wouldn't have space for it activation point wise because there's normally other options that are going to be better. There's also the PT-76. PTs have always been terrible in any Eugen game. I mean, they are just kind of trash. 10 pen. I don't even know if it's a heat round as well. So the closer you get, it doesn't do more damage. Only kinetic does more damage the closer you get. Heat's just kind of sucky, and having that low pen on a heat round is just not going to do much damage to things. But otherwise, yeah, cheap and cheerful, has amphibious capability. Right, T-62s. So T-62 OBR-63. This is interesting. What is that? So this is a kinetic one. The leader with 18 penetration, 1,925 meter range, 50% accuracy because of the veterancy, 7 round per minute rate of fire. Like it's a decent leader, honestly, to have. But the T-62 OBR-67 is actually a heat round, and again, heat is struggling. It will always do at least 1 damage to like heavy tanks at range, so it can be useful for like chipping and sort of reducing the morale of enemy heavy tanks, especially if they're like mixed in with other tanks. But Yeah, the penetration is quite high here, so against sort of other medium tanks and lower, maybe you can get some good value out of this gun. But I'm not a huge fan of the heat rounds. Let's see about the T62 OBR 72. Yeah, so this is nice. So you get kinetic rounds, which it makes a big difference. So you're trading heat rounds for kinetic rounds. You get Dushka and a PKT. Armor's the same, like it's 11 front, 5 side. Speed's the same. I think I would always prefer to just pay that extra 10 points. And then you've got the T62 OBR 75, which gets more range. So it goes to 2,100 meter range over 1,975. You also get a little bit more accuracy. You are losing 1 pen, but bear in mind that's to do with range scaling. So at 1,925 meter range, you're still going to have the same pen. You get slightly more side armor as well. I assume that's just because it's adding skirts and stuff. Cool. And then we've got the T62M T2A2. More APS. This is a cool tank. Very cool tank. 180 points. You get 20 penetration on the gun. It's a kinetic round with 2,100 meter range. 55% accuracy is pretty nice as well. You get a Bastion ATGM with 18 pen at 2,800 meters with 60% accuracy. A really nice ATGM. This honestly, the Bastion can, especially if you keep all of these alive, can really help you win long-range engagements. Like overall, this tank tab's going to struggle at range, but the Bastion really helps you out. Dushka, and then you've also got, to help you at range, the APS. So the T2A2 system is these things on the side. It's going to give you a 45% chance to intercept enemy HGMs, which is pretty cool. That means you've got to be a little bit less worried about Milans or toes, that kind of thing. You get 13 front armor. Yeah, nice upgrade. Really nice upgrade on that T62 and looks badass with all that equipment on it. Yeah, that's a very interesting piece of equipment. I like it a lot. Then we got Recon tab, so Razvedka MVD, just 4-man squad. Unfortunately, no AT launcher on these guys, so just a cheap recon to spread around for 20 points. You get 6 on a card. They also come with the security trait UAZ. And there's a sniper. Sniper's always nice to have just for recon capability. Again, you can just spread them out, and they have that sniper trait, which gives them extra level of stealth beyond exceptional. And they also get the extra damage boost if they were to actually engage anything. But alas, we've got a scoped mods in there and an SVD. Nice. 35 points. And then we got the URSN Razvidka. This is a nice squad. So 5 AK, MS, SVD, and the RPG-18. This is a really nice squad to be using at the start of the game, because you get Special Forces shock trait, so they're going to be able to fight pretty well. And then the GSR trait if you don't bump into anything and you get into a good position, just to provide nice recon capability. The GSR trait gives the very good optics. It goes up to exceptional when they're stationary, which is fantastic. Transport-wise, BTR-80 or MI-80. You can also, of course, bring the trucks. BRDM-2. Always been a solid piece of kit. It's good value for money. I like it. Then Razvedka Sapere. Standard stuff. We've seen them before. 8-man squad with the satchel charge shock trait. Pretty nice if you need to supplement a bit of close range infantry in this deck. And then we've got a jammer. MI8 recon, which is nice. So we've seen this before, yeah, 56th and 9th Panzer Division. 30% ECM with 8 health. It's like a pretty useful recon helicopter because it's not going to get shot down so easy. It provides that jammer trait, and it's got, you know, the altitude to give the benefit to those optics. And then you've got the MA8 MT Berkut 2, which comes with, it looks like 2 machine guns. I'm trying to wonder where they are. I actually don't know where they are on this thing. Interesting. It's like as if it's underneath. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it's got decent range against ground forces. You've got 20% ECM, very good optics. I'm going to spot it at some point. Maybe it's just here on that side. Anyway, very cool. I always love these like new variants of these helicopters. Great to see them in game. AA Zu-23-2. Yep, standard twin 23mm. Good against helicopters, can provide some anti-infantry support if needed in a pinch. 9 on a card, 2 cards available. 57mm AA, 35 points, 8 on a card. Again, going to be useful for shooting down helicopters, but going to struggle against aircraft or anything else. Then we've got Iglas, so nice to have some man pads available. 9 on a card, 2 cards available. Standard Igla with the 4HE 2,650 meter range. You've got the truck with the Su-23 on it. And there's also this thing, the Niva M. That is some nasty looking AA. I think this was in Wargamer Dragon, like on the back of like a vehicle. Maybe it was a Polish that had it. I can't remember. But either way, nasty piece of work. 9 HE, 5,650 meter range against aircraft with 55% accuracy. This is 3 on a card, 2 cards available. Yeah. I'm not going to look forward to Commissar getting his hands on these because they're going to absolutely bonk all of my aircraft out the sky. But otherwise, yeah, very nice piece of kit and can be brought in with the Kraz as its transport. Just make sure if you're using these that when they fire, you move them because they are going to be a hot, arty target. All right, helicopters. Mi-8 with rockets. Pretty standard stuff. 110 points, no ACM, 8 damage, or 8 health, sorry, with plenty of those 57mm rockets. Then we got the Mi-8MT with the 80mm rockets. So you get 80 rockets there for 110 points. This one's better generally, in my opinion, just because it fires faster because there's 3 pods as opposed to 2 pods. The way that it works, like, so when they fire, it fires like 1 from here, 1 from here, and 1 from here, 1 from here. So this is firing like a third faster than these are. But either way, Mi-28A. This is, or Mi-24A. Sorry, this is like the prototype Mi-24 with the machine gun in the front there, the 12.7mm machine gun. You got the flanger. Laser gems on the pylons plus the S5 rockets. 130 points, 8 health, no ECM again. Again, really cool to see that in the game. Like just interesting to see. And then the Mi-24V with the Igla air-to-air. That's going to be pretty useful, I think, with the rockets there as well. Especially at like the start of the game, you're going to be able to get some dominance with this early on. And then you've also got an AT variant, which comes with the Kokon with the 20 pen at 2,800 meter range. So 150 points for Kokon is actually pretty cheap. I like these helicopters a lot, especially considering like they're quite resilient. You mustn't ignore the fact that these have armor as opposed to like the Mi-8 that does not, which definitely makes them a lot more tanky. So yeah. And the Mi-24P with the 81 variant. So you're just kind of trading the turret here at the front, the Yak-B, for the 30mm side cannon, which is quite powerful if you can get it on target. But I think I prefer having 8 Kokons here rather than the 4 Kokons plus this gun. So 150 points is still winning out there. Alrighty, air tab. Su-25, Su-days. So this one's coming with those 80mm rockets, 170 points, 10% ECM, 10 health with some armor. It's going to be able to clean up infantry and light vehicles. Then you got a napalm variant. It's going to have to go quite deep to actually drop these, and going deep for infantry kills with napalm is something that you're probably not going to want to do. So I don't think this is going to get too much use unless you're using it as like an anti-helo or something, using those R60Ms with the double, what, like twin 30mm. Definitely going to rip through helicopters nicely. Su-25 with S-25 rockets. So these are semi-active guided rockets, I think. Yeah, I think they're just like kind of guided rockets. 30 penetration, 3,325 meter range. So you're going to have to get close to use them, but yeah, that's certainly going to hit hard for 200 points. I kind of like that. And then you got the S-25 with the S-25O, which is the dumbfire version of the S-25. This thing is going to hit hard as well. That's a nasty payload when you look at that. 4.2 HE for 2,450 meter range with 40% accuracy. I really want to mess around with this. I think it's going to be super fun to use. It really depends on like the accuracy of these, because I think the S-25 has always been a bit sort of hit and miss. But yeah, I mean, it does only have 40% accuracy, so that's about right. It's a coin flip, almost. MiG-23 MLD. It's okay. I mean, it's just standard MiG-23 with the R-24R with 6 HE, 7,775 meter range. A couple of R-60s or 4 R-60s. Yes, all right. 2 cards of these with 2 on each card. 20% ECM, 1,125 meter range. There's also the loadout with the R-73 and the R-24 MR. So the MR is slightly more accurate than the R-24 MR, and then you've got the difference between the R-60 and the R-73 with its new trait, the high off bore sight capability, which basically makes it so that there's a wider angle at which it can track its target. So high off bore sight capability updates a missile seeker and tracker systems, allowing targets to be engaged offset from their frontal plane with more flexibility. So if you're like side on to the enemy plane, you can still fire these, for example. And then we got the MiG-29S, 260 points, 40% ECM, 1,125 kilometers per hour speed. You get the R-73, so you can fire those sort of, again, at a kind of dodgy angle. And then you've got the R-77, which is 5 HE, 7,775 meter range with 50% accuracy. Nice fire and forget long-range missiles, and fire and forget close-range missiles as well. So, yeah, solid piece of kit. I think the air-to-air options here are nice. I really like these two Su-25s. Very cool. I like this division. It's going to be fun to play. Let's go ahead and put together a quick deck. So probably just going to start with Gaz-53, some ZIL-131s, and then we'll do Chaika. I don't know if I want to fob for this deck again, because there really isn't too much that we're going to be bringing in the artillery tab, I don't think. I probably want to try the Militsaya. I don't know. Well, I'll give them a go. I don't know how they're going to perform, but we'll find out. Then we got these boys might come in as well. I'm definitely going to be taking these new ones. I just don't know if I'm probably going to put these in the BTR 80s, and then these can maybe come in with the helicopters, is what I was thinking, or maybe like one with a helicopter, one without kind of thing. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then we can we'll bring in those Ochrana. I'll bring in Conkers. I think bringing in double H gems in decks where you have a bad tank tab is always important. I'll definitely bring in Sapodi RPO. So what am I bringing here? I don't think I bring the military police, actually. We'd probably bring some BMP to Motostrauki. I think that's what I'm going to do. Cool. So we got our militia. I don't have any leaders here in this tab as well, which is a bit dodge. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just leave it like so. Move that there. So I've got my elite infantry, my stand line infantry. We got the trash infantry, close range infantry, grenade launcher, and then these guys. I'm almost tempted to change the grenade launcher for more Monostrauki there. And we'll bring those with the BTR. Yeah, we'll do that. Add those. Okay, and then we go here. We're definitely going UR-77. And I think I might try and do 2 cards of 122s. Tank tab, we're definitely bringing these bad boys, the APS system. I think behind that, the other T-72s are fine. I might even just bring 2 cards of T-62 leaders, and that kind of like sorts us out in that regard. Do I want to upbet these? It does increase our rate of fire. Yeah, it might be worth upbetting those. And then recon. I'll try out this helicopter. Although I'm pretty sure this one's better if I'm going to use it as a recon. Definitely bringing these guys. Probably in the BTRs. I'm definitely bringing some Resverticus Apri. And then maybe the snipers. Probably the last best option there. Okay, we'll definitely bring both cards of the Niva. We'll bring some Iglas and maybe some Su-23s. I might remove those, but we'll see. Helicopter-wise, definitely bring both of the Mi-24V, and we'll definitely bring both of the Mi-24AA. I don't know if I want to bring this. It's just very cheap. So, I mean, maybe I could just throw that in there to give it a go. Air tab, MiG-29, and both of these. Is that me sorted? I like that you get to on a card here. That's kind of handy. Maybe we remove one of those, and then that way I can get another aircraft in, because I think we need 2 sets of fighters here. We'll do this one. Okay, does that leave me with enough supply and stuff? It's a bit tight. The recon tab's super expensive. This tab's kind of expensive as well. Like AA and recon tab, really expensive. We'll leave it there. That's the DON-100. Let me just bring that up for you guys so you can see what it looks like. And then we have it. Yeah, I mean, it's relatively well-rounded. Like, obviously a bit lacking in the tank tab. But overall, some really fun stuff to mess around with. Artillery tab's also kind of a bit naff. But I think the 122s could be fun to try and make use of with the artillery update that came in recently. Infantry tab, super cool. Yeah, I like the new tank with the APS. The Niva is such a badass AA unit, and those Su-25s with those rockets are going to be really fun to use. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Alrighty, well, hopefully you guys are looking forward to using this as much as I am. Let me know what you think of the division in the description, in the comments, sorry, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.